for our website with those linked as well. And I'm going to go ahead and give the floor to Mark and Bill for this awesome presentation that they have. So Mark, Bill, take it away.
Thank you so much, Nikesha. Thank you all for being here. This is really special and super excited to share part 2 with you guys. Last week, we had talked about, just to like a little bit of a recap of what we talked about last week. We discussed the difference between Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and Web 3.0 being quickly Web 1.0 being a text-based internet, early 90s. Web 2.0, the addition of e-commerce and websites and video and really the addition of websites. And then Web 3.0, which is what we're discussing today, is of course the addition of cryptocurrency and NFTs and selling digital assets. That's a very, very short description. We looked at the different parts of an NFT last week. Bill showed us parts of his NFT. We discussed primary sales, secondary sales, artist royalties, how artists earn royalties in perpetuity. And there were lots of great questions. Thank you all for such fabulous questions last week. You brought up lots of great points, especially with copy minting and trademarks and some other like just awesome questions. So thank you for that. I do want to, there's some very, very cool things that for all businesses, this is going to really like affect all businesses in the future. Just in this last week, Shopify announced that they are adding an NFT platform to their e-commerce site. So you'll be able to add NFTs to your Shopify store. They are in a beta, kind of a beta testing phase of this, but they are linked to several different NFT platforms. And it's a very, very exciting time. So I'm sure that you will see other other e-commerce platforms like BigCommerce and several others adding NFTs to websites in the future. So this is a big deal. And speaking of other news, just today, eBay announced that they purchased the NFT platform called Known Origin, which is a huge, huge deal. I don't know if that's for better or for worse, but this is on the Ethereum blockchain using Ethereum cryptocurrency. So you're going to start to see NFTs incorporated in eBay in this next year. So eBay will be selling digital assets. No big surprise. No big surprise. And then last week, I also talked about, the reason why I love NFTs, and, mostly it's not just a digital asset. To me, it is the token to a personal connection and a personal relationship. And that's why I love NFTs mostly. I know I explained to you that it also allows me to collect artists that, famous artists' work that I couldn't possibly afford otherwise. So NFTs and owning these digital assets not really allows me to collect, famous artists' work and have a connection with those artists. And that's a really exciting thing. And I think that we all need to remember that there are artists and creatives and small businesses all over the world that are minting NFTs to escape poverty. So I think we all really need to keep that in the back of our head, just as we are learning about the new technology, and that this is an important shift for people around the world, and not just, not just me personally wanting to promote my music or my art. It's a big deal. So very exciting. Let's see. Maybe Nikesha, maybe you could share that that slide. I have this slide that I was going to digitize for you guys and make it all slick. And I wrote it out on a piece of paper, and I thought it was just cool the way it was. And so I left it, and I wanted to share this with you, just my own writing. What this is I wanted to give you kind of an idea of what the landscape of NFTs, non-fungible tokens, looks like. So this is the cryptocurrency non-fungible token ecosystem, and what it looks like kind of from the top down, because I was talking to a few people this week, and they were explaining to me that they just didn't have an overall sense of what it is or what is going on. So that's what I'm going to try to explain here. And this slide really just kind of hopefully will explain like what the landscape looks like. It starts with my bank account. I have a regular old bank account, Alaska USA Credit Union. And so I have my bank account, which is attached to a place where you can purchase cryptocurrency, all the different cryptocurrencies. I use Coinbase.com. There's also Crypto.com that people use to purchase cryptocurrency. So your bank connected to the place where you purchase cryptocurrency. And then each cryptocurrency itself has a specific wallet. So if you look at the slide, you'll see on the third box over on the top right, each cryptocurrency has its own wallet. I mostly use Tezos as the cryptocurrency I'm using. Very common, even more common is probably Ethereum. So you can see it in the box below. There's the Ethereum. So if you're using one cryptocurrency or another, you'd have to have a separate wallet. So you'd have a Tezos wallet, which is, there's a couple of different wallets. They're free. I use Kukai. It's an app. It's an application wallet. It's called Kukai. And then there's also, for Ethereum, there's a MetaMask wallet. So depending on which cryptocurrency you're working with, you would need a specific wallet that goes with that cryptocurrency. And then after the wallet, there are several platforms that are attached to whichever cryptocurrency you're working with. So there are Tezos platforms. That's where Bill and I are minting our NFTs. This is where you can buy and sell and make, or as we say, mint your own NFTs. So there are different platforms that are attached to each currency. The Tezos platforms, today we're going to be looking at object.com. But there are others, versum.xyz, fxhash.xyz, and there's a new Tezos platform that just started this week that I thought was really cool. I can't remember the extension, but it's called Typed, Typed. I think it's .xyz, but it's an interesting Tezos NFT platform that only deals with text-based NFTs. So it's only text, which is different. Bill and I are working with video and WAV files. And of course, we did discuss that you can attach any kind of file to an NFT. But typed is unique because it's only text-based. So I thought that was very interesting. And And then for the Ethereum platforms, we did mention known origin. I didn't have that listed on here, but known origin, but purchased by eBay this week. And then there are several other platforms in the Ethereum cryptocurrency that are very, very common, where artists mint their own NFTs. OpenSea is probably the most common. Rarible, Foundation, and Mint Songs if you're a musician. There are several more. There's a lot of different platforms out there. Of course, I'm quite partial myself to the Tezos platforms. And the reason being is that to mint an NFT on the Tezos platform costs pennies. And those costs can really add up in the Ethereum, with Ethereum platforms, and we call those gas fees. And the gas fees are extremely expensive on Ethereum, and they're really, really cheap for Tezos. And that is why I love Tezos, because it allows me to play, have fun, and not worry about if something doesn't go right. I'm not going to lose a ton of money. So I hope that, and feel free, I know I'm talking fast. I know we're going fast. We don't have a ton of time, but feel free to interrupt me with any questions as we're going along. So I hope that kind of does kind of explain what the ecosystem looks like. Bank account, Coinbase account, and then wallets, and then platforms. I know that's a lot, but that's what's going on for now. Eventually these wallets will be I can see it combining all into one eventually, and you won't have to have separate wallets for separate cryptocurrencies. But we are still in a very early phase of NFTs, and so it's not likely to change this year. But yeah, that I can see it. I can see having just one wallet for everything in the future. So does anybody have any questions before I move on to the next part? Okay, that's cool. So then, yeah, Bill, if you can share your screen, the front of your
How's that?
That is great.
That was where
This is perfect. Okay, so I just wanted to show you very briefly. This is the front of Bill's site on the Tezos, using Tezos cryptocurrency. This is the front of Bill's site on object.com. And these are the last 5 NFTs that Bill minted. And can you just scroll up a little bit again? Perfect. I do want to, now last week we did go over some of these tabs here. But today I do want to take you through how we create or make, or as we say, mint NFTs. So Bill, can I have you click create, top right-hand corner?
okay.
So yeah, you can click on
Actually, yeah.
There it is. Beautiful. Okay, so and you're not going to mint an NFT, Bill.
You know, I always got some in the old bucket to pull out, but I'm
Well,
saving those for collaborations, you know.
yeah, totally. So I did want to show you how, but what I did want to show you how we actually do mint NFTs so that it's not a secret or anything. And really it's not hugely difficult. You'll see that it says token in the top left-hand corner. And then what Bill or I would do was, if it's a piece of art, a JPEG, Bill would simply drag and drop right where it says drag and drop to upload file, right? And then he would, you scroll down. Are you actually going to do that? Are you going to put it in there?
Well, no, well, I could show you, but see, there's I'm sure there's a picture or something I could mint.
I don't think you need to do
Okay.
that. Yeah,
Okay, no problem.
I think it's okay. We can just show them the
But
field.
yeah, but I'll just put this in for an example. The jellyfish.
Yeah. And then yeah, and you'll see it would show up. And then yeah, we're just going to go through the fields. So then you would fill in the title, you would fill in the description. A lot of times when I'm minting my own NFTs, I like to do the description in Google Docs just so that I don't have any mistakes, because once you mint NFTs and you sell them, it's kind of forever. It's hard to go backwards after you sell your digital, you know, assets. So that's one thing that I really try to do, is to make sure that I have no spelling mistakes and that my description is perfect. So I usually do that in Google Docs first. So you'd fill in the description, you'd fill in any tags, and that would just be any hashtags that are related to your work. And then Bill, if you could scroll down a little bit. And then you would, the next thing is you would put, you have to, one of the nice things about this platform is that you can make different collections. And that works out great for me. As a musician, I have several different collections of NFTs. I have my audio cassettes, my digital audio cassettes, my digital vinyl, and different collections. So I have different kinds of music NFTs that can go into different kinds of music collections. So you'd make a collection, name your collection, and then below that is creators. And this would be a field that you would use if you have multiple creators of a piece. So if Bill and I are doing a collaboration, this is where we would add the various creators. Then below that, we have different kinds of licenses to choose from. Admittedly, I don't know as much about that field. I tend to leave it the way it is. All rights reserved. There's also a Creative Commons that you can click on for the licensing if you want to let people use the digital asset for a different reason. And then below that, you choose the edition count. The editions, of course, you can choose 10,000 editions if you want, or you can choose, I tend to have smaller edition counts for my work. I prefer to do 20 or less mostly. And the reason why I do that is because 20 or less is a nice number where people don't feel like that there's too many editions in the world. They feel like they're getting something that's pretty rare, there's only 20 of them in the world. So hopefully the value is higher, and people value the work as time goes on because there's fewer editions. So I prefer a fewer edition count. Sometimes I will do drops that are 100 or more editions. That would be more of a public offering where I would say, okay, I'm going to do 100 editions and do that for much less money so that more people could collect. So there's a number of reasons why you might want to have a higher edition count to do a community drop, or various reasons why people would want to have a higher edition count. There are some artists who do only one of ones, only one edition, and that's all. And then they make their work, they price their work extremely high because there's only one asset, there's only one edition at all. There is also some people who do one of ones and they attach the price of the physical piece to the NFT itself. So in other words, there are artists who sell a one of one, and if you collect that one of one, they will send you the painting too, right? So that's a special one for me because that's the only painting that I own that's also an NFT. So it's really special for me. Below that, we have the royalty percentage. The royalty percentage can be determined 10% through 25%. So you can choose the royalties that you will collect every time the piece sells. So if Bill sells a piece, an NFT to somebody else, and that person reprices and that NFT and puts it up for sale on the secondary market, and it sells, then the sale, the percentage of that sale of the royalties will go to Bill every single time. And so every time that NFT sells, whatever Bill put as the royalty percentage, he will collect at the time of sale. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love about NFTs too, is the opportunity to collect royalties in perpetuity for your work forever. I mean, forever. So I think that's really, really exciting. And really, that's really about all there is to it. And then you would just click, there's a little button at the bottom, and you would click mint, and that's really all it is. And at that point, when you click mint, what happens is that will trigger your wallet. So your Kukai wallet, your Tezos wallet, or your Ethereum wallet, whatever you're working with, will say, hey, I see that you're trying to mint an NFT, and it will charge you. You'll have to accept it. You'll say, yes, accept. And then it will charge you a very, very small amount of money, a couple pennies, and then it will mint that NFT. And one thing that we all need to remember is that in Web3, nothing is instant. Nothing is instantaneous the way Web 2 is. When you make a transaction in Web 2, when you click buy on Amazon, it's done, right? It's over, and you bought it, and it's instant. When we click mint, things take a little bit of time to upload and to accept and to make sure that that is actually doing what you asked it to do. So it does take a little bit of time. I forgot to tell you guys too, if anybody gets into this, my advice is to do all of this work on a desktop or a laptop. I know everybody's very, very connected to their phones. You can do this work on your phone, not saying you can't, but it is very clunky still. And it is a lot easier to do this work on a desktop. And specifically Google Chrome. This will not work with Safari, none of it. So, and I've forgotten to tell that to people before, and I've gotten into all kinds of hot water.
Hey, Mark,
Sure.
if you want, I can mint this. I don't know if I minted Palm Tree,
I don't think it's necessary, Bill. I think it's,
but this is what, okay, no problem.
I mean, I think that you should eventually anyway, because I like that piece, but I think that they get the idea of,
That was way back when.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Here, I'll go back.
And then, but actually, like, I think, we could, go to the next part. So Bill, would you mind sharing the front of your page again? And did you already mint Cannonball? Oh yeah, you did. Okay, yeah. Can you pull up that NFT? Oh, this is cool.
I'm talking with my mic off. Anyways,
Okay.
hang on a sec. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. Yeah, I minted it. However, I did not swap it. That was
Right.
what I was going to say.
Right. Exactly. And so what Bill means by he did not swap it means that he did not make it for sale. So, there is a lot of terminology here in Web3 that there's a lot of there's a lot of new words, and so feel free to stop me or Bill if we're using terminology that that doesn't make any sense. But the term swap means to make for sale, and the term mint means to make. And so what's going on with this piece right now is Bill has already minted this piece. Of course, here it is. And but it is not for sale currently. And I just wanted to go over again. I know we did this last week, but I just want to quickly go over the parts of this NFT really quickly again, so that everybody is clear. So we have the art itself, of course, is right there on the left, and actually you can see it behind Bill on his wall right there. I think, is it right there? Anyway, Bill has the piece, and then I can't quite see. Can you go back to the front page or to the details? Exactly, perfect. And then so we're looking at the details right here. You can see the name of the piece, Cannonball, and then the description where we had just looked at that field. The description, Cannonball, is this piece I painted. And we can look at the properties. There are 25 editions of it. There are 24 editions that are currently owned. Bill's collecting 25% of the royalties. It's an image, it's a JPEG. He minted it on April 22nd, so a couple months ago. There's a token ID number, the license is right there. And then let's go down to this history. let's take a look at this. What happened here? Okay, so this is the complete history of this NFT. You can see that Bill minted it on April 22nd. There was 25 editions, and there was actually an offer on it. And the offer was for 0.5 Tezos, which is about the equivalent of like not that much, like $1.50, not a lot. And that was from me. I loved the piece and I wanted to put an offer on it, even though it was not for sale. So I saw it in Bill's collection and I was like, oh, I really like that piece. I'm going to put an offer and see if Bill will accept this offer. And so I offered 0.5 Tez, and Bill was kind enough to accept that offer. And you can see that the offer was accepted for 0.5 Tez. And then you can see that the transfer was made from Bill to me to Fendel.Tez. And that's all that's happened with this NFT.
And
that's the full history. Yeah.
And Mark, yeah, I couldn't unmute myself earlier because I hadn't expanded the screen. Anyways, technical.
Okay.
But yeah, the painting is right there. And that's something that I can't, really grasp around a lot of the times, is because this piece that we're reviewing, Cannonball, I announced it this morning, and Mark can talk further about that. But the joy is that I have the painting right there to enjoy it. And, and whomever would like to buy it, they could reach out to me or whatever. But yeah.
Super cool. Super cool. Okay. Yeah, and I just love that part of NFTs too, that you can sell the physical or keep the physical painting if you like, Bill. It is completely up to you. I do want to reiterate that like Bill's painting right here, Bird Strike. This painting right here is also an NFT. And it's also currently for sale. And I just do want to iterate that Bill always owns the image. Even if I were to buy the painting, if it were not an NFT, if it were not a digital asset, it is still Bill's to do with what he wants. So Bill always owns the rights to his image, even if I own the physical. I hope that's clear. So in other words, if Bill sold a painting in 1997 and he wanted to mint a digital version of that as an NFT, it is his right to do so. He always owns his image, always, no matter who owns the physical piece. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice, again, as I was saying last week, it would be nice to ask the owner as a courtesy, would it be okay if I minted this piece that you have as a courtesy, but it is his right to do so.
I think I asked you about 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was this is so new to me.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for pulling up Bird Strike.
Yeah, no problem. There it is, right there.
So this is one of my favorite NFTs, obviously, because I own the physical piece myself. So it's really special to have both the physical and the digital version of this. And then let's just look at who owns it really quick. Let's see who owns this piece. So you can see that Bill owns 4 editions. I currently own 4 editions. And then you can see Mighty Moss owns 1, and et cetera, et cetera. Von Doyle is down there. Big time artist, the Westerner, huge collector, Mikey Wilson, another huge collector. David Chaffetz is a painter in Olympia who's had huge success in the NFT space. So, Bill's work getting collected by some major collectors and some major artists to in the space, especially Vaughn. I know we've talked about Vaughn here, but on the cover of what's the magazine?
Vanity Fair.
Vanity Fair. Thank you. A couple months ago. So really exciting to have Bill's work and my work too collected by some major collectors and building new fan base and new collectors and new connection. So very cool. I do want to move on. Bill, could you show us your collection of NFTs?
Yes, I can. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be reading or answering the chat, so I don't know.
That's okay.
That. Okay.
Well, I'll do it.
You want me to show you my what? This page?
Yeah, just the your collections
that I own.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So great. I'm just going to read this question in the chat. Thank you, Supo. I wasn't here last week, so not sure if you covered this. If you're minting with Tezos, would someone else using a different currency be able to buy your work that was minted in Tezos? I see. Yeah, you would need to convert into Tezos to buy, to collect Tezos work for sure. If you had a different currency, if you were invested in Ethereum as an example, you could convert some of your Ethereum into Tezos and then use Tezos. Or you could just buy some Tezos, but that conversion, not hard at all. In Coinbase, cryptocurrencies can be converted into any different cryptocurrency and moved into a wallet or even back into your bank account. So that would be another thing to really go over sometime, is how we move the money around and how it goes back and forth. But back to my first slide, I'm looking at the arrows going from bank account to Coinbase to wallet to platform. It actually works the opposite way too. So you can draw money out of from your cryptocurrency and turn it into USD, right? There's another great question of, if you're marked as a co-creator, would you also get a portion of the royalties? Absolutely. Yes, in perpetuity, for sure. And that's this is the thing that broke bands up for years, is band members not feeling that they were compensated fairly for their part in a band context. Right. So if there are 4 band members and one person is only collecting the royalties for a song, these NFTs solve that problem, because you can have multiple creators. Very cool. Great question. Another great question. So when you're minting, would you enter the portion of royalties per creators at that time? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And when you enter the creators, it will give you another field, Supo, to that explains the breakdown of the royalties. So it could be, and that those royalties could be different for each person. So depending on what you had involved, depending on your involvement in the project, you could have a small amount of royalties. Depends. Could be it could be divided as any percentage. So what we're looking at over here are the NFTs that Bill has collected, and you'll see that some of his are in there too, because he owns those as well. But I just want to show you like what art kind of looks like populated in somebody's collection. And so these are all of the NFTs that Bill has collected. And thank you for like kind of just scrolling through, Bill. I just wanted to show you guys kind of what that looks like. So you could kind of see like how we collect and how we can look through our NFTs that we've collected. For me, I love putting the NFTs that I've collected on a thumb drive. It's just a right-click save, and then I like to put them on a thumb drive, and then I like to put them in. I have like a little spare television here in my kitchen, and then I just kind of love to see those things kind of scrolling through as I'm cooking and you know, in my kitchen. That's one way that I enjoy, you know, the work that I collect.
Yeah, this, if I can interject 1 second, this is one of my favorite ones right here. And this one, so I'm doing this meeting on my 43-inch flat screen TV. And then when I expand this, it's my whole TV, and it's so cool. And, you know, collaborations like Mark and I have done in the past, you know, the audio, and it runs on a loop. It's super cool. But anyways, then we got a lot in there.
Really, really cool. Okay, and let's see. So that is the collection. We have about 15 minutes left. So just to kind of recap what we were talking about today, the ecosystem of NFTs, minting process, you know, NFT collection, what our own NFT collection looks like. And if you guys have any more questions, I'm super happy to answer any more questions. I could talk all day on this stuff. There's so many great topics to discuss. A few of the other things that that I have, you know, really thought about, you know, talking at length about. I'm just going to throw out some top topics that I think would be interesting to discuss. They don't have that, doesn't have to happen right now, but NFTs and your products, NFTs in the museum and what that will look like in the future. We have the NFT, of course, we have the first NFT museum in the country is here in Seattle. It's in Belltown. Really exciting. I've not been there yet, but really excited to go there. Creating utility with NFTs is something that is already happening a lot. What I mean by that, as an example of utility, for me, I have created several songs, and they're all, several of them are on, it looks like a digital cassette tape. It looks like a little cassette tape of the NFT. And if my collectors collect 5 or more of my cassette tapes, I will airdrop them a free NFT. So basically what you're doing is you basically can come up with your own idea of, it's almost a gamification or utility of saying, if you buy this much, I'm going to airdrop an NFT in your wallet for free. Or it could be lots of different ways to keep people involved. For instance, let's say if somebody collects a certain amount of your work, you could enter them into a drawing, you know, to receive another airdrop. Another example of this would be like we were talking about Von Doyle, famous artist. He minted an NFT recently, and he sold it for a very low amount of money, and it sold out. There were only 25 editions. He sold out in 10 minutes and then announced to all of his collectors that if anybody owned that NFT, there would be subsequent airdrops for free into people's wallet who owned that specific NFT. So what happened was that NFT became really popular in one day. Everybody was scrambling to try to get that NFT on the secondary market because they knew that there would be subsequent drops following for free. So the value of that NFT went to the moon in 2 days because people wanted that because they knew that they would get more. So, and in one day, I purchased that NFT from Vaughn. I was lucky enough to just be looking at the computer. I purchased that for 2 Tez, less than $5. And by the end of the day, that NFT was worth just under $300 as the floor. And I'm talking about it had already sold for that much because people knew that they were going to get several more NFTs because of owning that one. And that is what I'm talking about for creating utility. And there's a number of ways that artists are doing this. This is just an example, one example of creating utility. And utility really would suggest that you're keeping people engaged, and excited about your work. Other topics that we could discuss, smart contracts.
I have a question.
Sure, absolutely.
I know you haven't talked about it, at least not today, but can I ask about your Tezos domain? I know I noticed both of you have your own domains. How are you using them?
Great question. The Tezos domain, you can get, it's $5 per year to own the domain. You can have any domain as long as it's not taken. It's just like a regular, it's like any other domain. You can get your own domain at tezosdomains.xyz, I believe it is. And then so how that domain works is just like this. So when you have your Tezos wallet, it will give you an address that is specific to your wallet. It's a public address. So it's a long string number that's in fact, if you look at what Bill has right here, you can see it. It starts with, well, anyway, it's a very, very long string number that is connected to your wallet. It's your wallet address. Mm-hmm. And
is it only for Tezos wallet, or does it work with other cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, it works for any cryptocurrency.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have a domain for any cryptocurrency for sure. And so all it is that long string address is you will have a domain that is like a mask for the long string address. So if you put in fendel.tez, it automatically is tied to the long form address that's associated with the wallet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, I guess so. My question is, so it's a one-to-one, right? You couldn't just, I couldn't send you Ethereum to your fendel.tez domain.
Oh, right. No, you couldn't send Ethereum to my fendel.tez, but you could send Ethereum to my Coinbase account. So if I were to give you my Coinbase address, which is different, then we could exchange cryptocurrency in Coinbase.
Okay.
Absolutely. Great question. Yeah, and then you can get Ethereum domains, I'm sure. I mean, I don't have one myself, but I'm sure that's really easy to do. and just connect it. Let's see. Any other questions?
There's something in the chat. I don't know.
Okay, great.
Also, this is Von Doyle's piece, one of his pieces right here.
Yeah. So when you're minting, would you enter the portion of royalties? But yeah, oh yeah. Is it more common successful strategy to offer a physical copy of the work along with the NFT? It is not. Offering the physical is not super common right now, but it is a great strategy, especially for prints for artists. I think that offering prints can be really, really effective. So when you're doing that, you're going to want to incorporate the cost of the NFT into, you want to make sure that that covers your cost for the printing, of course, and really for the shipping. So if you're shipping overseas, you want to really make sure that the cost of the NFT, covers that. Or you could say, like, I only do, US and Canada shipping, and I just can't afford to do overseas. Or you could ask that if people are collecting your work from around the world, you could ask that they pay for the shipping. That could be okay too. But I think it's getting more, to answer your question, I think that's getting more and more common that people are connecting physical copies of NFTs to the digital asset itself. And I think it's a very exciting, way to sell your digital work. If there is a physical copy that's signed, I mean, it makes it really special, right? I've seen artists also do like giveaways, like they'll maybe mint 25 editions and then have like just a couple of prints that they give away. They do like a drawing, and it makes it fun, but the attaching physical work to NFTs is we're kind of just getting started with that in the NFT space. I've seen some people do it very well. I know we were talking about David Chaffetz earlier, painter in Olympia. He's done this quite a bit, actually, and mostly with prints. And I think that's just a great way to keep people involved. And I think that's one of the things with physical paintings or physical products. I think it's actually kind of missing. There needs to be more of this, because I think people, are still wondering, what do I do with the digital asset itself? How am I going to relate with this, and why just collect, why just collected an NFT? Like, what is that? What's the difference? What's the difference between just doing that and right-click saving, which we know, the biggest difference, of course, being that, collecting the NFT is, if you collect Bill's NFT, you're investing in Bill. And it's more of like a Patreon. It's more like Patreon. This is more like Patreon, because you can see everybody who owns all of the editions. And as a musician, that's a total game changer. Total game changer. I've never been part of anything like that. If somebody had collected my work on Bandcamp or Spotify or, any of the platforms that I'm on for music, I can't just go in and look to see who owns all of that. And And so as a musician, this is a total game changer because I can see all of my fans all of a sudden, and I can interact with those people and thank them for collecting it. And there is a way more of an exchange happening that way. So that is very exciting to me. And that kind of goes into a subject that I wrote down about building fan base, with NFTs. And like I was telling a friend of mine yesterday, even though I do rant a lot on Facebook about NFTs, trying to get my old friends into this, I don't have any expectations for it. And I know that this is a new technology, and people will not adopt it easily or quickly. And I do recognize that, and I'm okay with that. And so what I frequently tell people is that we're not here to try to necessarily convert people, our friends and family, from Web 2. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make new connections in Web 3 itself. I'm trying to appeal to the people who are already invested and already involved in the ecosystem. Those are the people who I'm really trying to collect my work, and I will have much better success doing that, because they're already there. They already know what's going on. And so I have a lot of levity, when I talk about NFTs and cryptocurrency and digital assets in Web 2, which I do a lot, not without very much engagement, but I won't stop, because I know that this is going to be part of our lives, no matter what. You go to Chipotle and you're going to order your burrito with cryptocurrency. I mean, it's already happening. It'd just be everywhere. Some other tools, some other things that, topics that, I would love to talk about at some point. The metaverse, what is it? How is that going to impact us? Obviously, Facebook is rolling out their metaverse, which is going to be whatever it is. I have no idea. There's some other really cool metaverse. I don't even know what the plural would be. Metaverses. There's a couple of different metaverses out there, and it's basically like a digital, almost a game where you're inside a world, and you can view art or do all kinds of different things. I'm sure it will be more along the lines of shopping at a certain point for Facebook and other platforms, but for now, us artists have some different cool metaverse experiences where you're actually in digital a digital gallery, inside a world, in your computer, and really, really cool. Obviously, there's going to be what else? I mean, I could talk at length about the different disciplines, and how they are working differently in the ecosystem. In other words, how is it different for Bill as a painter to me as a musician or a photographer or a videographer or a designer, or, I mean, it's going to, in other words, our experiences in this ecosystem are really going to be different, depending on, what you do. And frankly, as a musician, the musicians have not adopted this technology fast at all. They're the slowest ones out there of all of the disciplines. The musicians are by far going about this in a really slow manner. It is the digital artists who have taken this, and the painters really who have really stepped up and pushed the technology really hard in the first, I mean, I want to say first year. NFTs have been around obviously since about 2016, but only in the big picture for about a year here. So it is the digital artists that are really taking this. Oh my gosh, I've gone over time, you guys. I don't want to, I really did not mean to do that. I don't want to, I know you guys are busy. I really respect your time. And so I do want to wrap up, and I'm totally willing to stay. If you guys have questions, totally willing to stay here for a while and answer any questions that you have. And if you have to go, totally cool. Thank you all so much for being here. Super great to see you. And yeah, if you have any questions, please, I'm here for you. And if anybody wants further help onboarding, like by onboarding, I mean minting your own NFTs. I know Bill would probably love to help you out with, Bill probably love to take a personal phone call, set up a meeting with you, no problem. I am, of course, willing to help you out and do that for you as well. And I guess just to kind of wrap up, yeah, we've talked about a lot of stuff. I know I could keep on going. There's a lot more topics that I could cover. But thank you all so much for being here. It's really an honor, and I don't want to keep you from this gorgeous day. Wow, we've had so few of them. So I hope that you all get to enjoy it. Yeah, any other questions? Thank you all so much.
Thank you for the presentation.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thanks everyone for being here.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming to the resource roundup today. Thank you, Mark and Bill. So much information. We might have to bring you back again for some more sessions to cover such vast topic. And thank you everyone for your time, and I'll see you next Friday.
Thanks, everybody.